Hello, my little weirdos. Excuse me. I've considered not making a video just by stream of consciousness, which is not scripted, basically. Because even if I scripted something, it would still be coming from my heart, because it'd be what I wrote. Allergies are killing me. But you can see there's some sun out today. I'm so excited. And it's not hiding behind a cloud every 3 seconds. I'm so excited. I'm talking about right now when holiday season is not the anticipated, sparkly, shiny, happy season. And that's kind of like, you can include Halloween, actually, because it's Halloween 1 month, Thanksgiving the next month, Christmas the next month, then New Year's. It's just, and all of that's supposed to be stuff that's supposed to be fun to gather for. Even Halloween. There's Halloween parties. I mean, you don't see Easter parties, because that's a home thing. But for some people, and it's definitely not a low number, holiday season from the end of October till the beginning of the new year is the worst part of the year for a lot of us. It wasn't for me until September 1st, 2021. When one of my twin sons had to run ahead against his will. So for me, actually, and their birthday, I mean, it was 6 weeks from their birthday. So it's his spiritversary, their birthday, Halloween, Thanksgiving, my other child's birthday, Christmas, and New Year's. So it used to be one of my favorite times of year. Not only holiday parties and Halloween and making costumes to get with them, or then birthday parties for the twins and the older one. There was just so much happiness and so much celebration. But from the end of August to the beginning of January, since then, sucks. I hate it. I just wish we could fast forward, and just go right to the January. Just forget all the other stuff, because it all hurts. I mean, you miss your parents, and both mine have been gone for some time. You miss your parents. My dad was 75. My mom was 1 month shy of 80. She just really wanted to get to 80. And I miss them sometimes really badly. But it's really different when it's your child. And probably your sibling. But for a mom who carried that child and was the only one that knew that child for the first 9 months of their life, or of their forming, it's a hard one. It's a hard road. And it's not flat, and it's not paved. It's full of dangers and loose rock and shale and sand and and they are not the sparkly holiday. I still don't have anything up for Christmas. And last year I didn't either. That first year, I just cried the entire time I was decorating inside and the balcony. And the Christmas tree was all blue lights. Because that's his color. His twin's color is green. Instead of making new memories, it's looking back at memories. For a lot of us. Some of us, it's maybe you haven't lost somebody like that, but somebody is grievously fatally ill, or they're having serious, financial, something happened, or their health, or somebody they love's health, or but I think grief is one of the bigger depression factors in this time of year. Hang on. All right. I wiped my eyes. And what works for one person isn't always going to work for anyone else, which makes it a touchier topic and not really a solution, one size fits all. And I'm finding, this is the third year, and I'm finding it's not even consistent from year to year with the same person, because it's different than it was the other years this year, but there's still that not being able. I put the Halloween decorations away. The Christmas ones are sitting right there. I just have to take them up, and I'm gonna have to rotate them anyway to put the Halloween ones above the Christmas anyhow, so so the next year it's done in unison, so you're not digging through all the time. It's a little mind-boggling, because it's not the same each year for me. It's not even the same, and what worked last year maybe isn't working this year. So it's kind of a messed up journey you undertake, but it's not a journey you choose to undertake, and therefore you're not prepared when it happens. And preparing sometimes takes years to get okay with the thought. It's not something you do while your children are alive, thinking, I should be prepared in case. Because otherwise, you'd always be in a hyper cautious state, and then you're not in the moments. So as humans, you have to let down that barrier and risk the utter decimation if the worst thing possible occurs. And those of us who've lost a child pick the shortest straw in that scenario. People say, yeah, you're so strong, you're so brave that you're not, just losing it or addicted to something. And it's not being strong and it's not being brave, because it's not like you choose, I'll be brave. You know, most often the courageous people, the warriors that look like they're just hell-bent, and they're scared to effing death. They literally are terrified of being hurt, seriously, grievously injured, or killed, or emotionally just devastated. It's not, that's not what they're thinking. What they're thinking is all of the people that they're doing it for. And the thing is, as a parent with a child that has passed, it becomes a way to honor them. And if you just rolled up and curled up and died yourself, then who's going to remind everybody that child existed, that child was cherished, that child was beloved? And people are devastated that they're not on earth anymore. Who else is going to tell the world or remind the world that they existed? Their child was amazing. Who else is going to keep that alive if not their parents, their siblings? I mean, so it's out of grief, but it's also because we need the world to remember those people didn't get to grow up. A lot of them, some of them are adult children, but a lot of our children didn't get to grow up and show the world what they're capable of doing. And that, and that is why so many of us parents forge ahead every day and try to keep your shit together enough to try to make an advancements each day to a goal of something, to make sure the memory of your child does good and others remember they managed to get that done because they died, type of thing. When you hear about the Hearts Act, when Joe Biden signs it, just passed in a federal Senate, when you hear about that from the the American Heart Association, or the or Project Adam. Project Adam started with Adam. It was named for the boy who the project sprung from. Why? Trying to battle what took him from Earth. But my own Earth twin son and his dad were instrumental in facilitating and helping the Project Adam, and then the American Heart Association. Project Adam got it through with the American Heart Association in their red state. They're halfway across the country from me on the East Coast. And they also spoke to Congress, Senate, in Washington, D.C. a few weeks back, and told the story first, their dad, from his point of view, and then his twin talked about his twin not being here, and also finding out he has the same rare syndrome, which for neither of them was easy, and they did it multiple times for their state legislature to get the state law. And Project Adam and American Heart Association were very optimistic and just went right in for let's do it with the federal government before January 20th, when he will not be in office anymore. And I think it was twice they spoke to the Senate, but they approved it. So we're waiting. But for it to become a national law that all AEDs to be in all teaching facilities around the country, probably half the states have state laws about it, but this makes it the others that don't have to do it too. And that's not just going to save the kids, it's going to save anybody that's on the grounds of that teaching facility and happens to have a cardiac arrest, happens to have their heart stopped. Any age, visitors, janitors, teachers, nurse, students, any of them, counselors, like I said, the public for events. And I was hoping we were hoping it might be called Rocky's Law, but doesn't matter, because I know his story and the story of our family dealing with that. Now has made a difference. It is going to make a difference in this country. And if my boy had not run ahead from a rare heart thing that, by the way, is not really diagnosable until an event happens, which means a heart attack. And for the Earth Twin and their dad to go and keep speaking in their state, in the capital, the country, that was a lot for them. But so both my boys were very instrumental in making maybe not a world change, but a national change. That's pretty big. So there are a lot of conflicting emotions for a lot of us out here during that holiday season. And like I said, some of us, it starts before Halloween or at the start of September. Because seasons can trigger you. It's not just sights, or you see as somebody that used to be your child's friend in school, or here they got married or had a kid or whatever. And I mean, sometimes like scents, their favorite food, their favorite holiday, their favorite, that can trigger you. So sights, scents, the feel of something. And what's really, get this, what's really freaky is sometimes the scent of, let's just pick let's say the smell of gardenia triggers the shit out of you because your kid loved gardenias. Okay, I'm just taking stuff out of the air. But the next time you smell gardenia, and you wind up crying because you miss, the next time you smell gardenias, all you think is, oh, my kid really was right. They do smell fantastic. So, or you're making apple pie, and that was your kid's favorite, dessert. Some days you'll be pulling that pie out of the oven, but just freaking trying not to get big old tears on the damn crust. And then sometimes that smell of that apple pie makes you feel closer to them. It's crazy. It is crazy. Because none of it is consistent. So you can't get used or expect a reaction to things that remind you of your spirit child. This journey doesn't even have rules. It doesn't even have guidelines. It's like all the hell over the place. There are no guarantees. Well, that's probably how it's always gonna, react. You'll always react it. You can't even do that because it's not true. So you're really kind of winging it on this journey. Damn sure. You're really kind of winging it because sights, sounds, smells, sound is another one that surprises you. At least me. It's just, you hear the sound of like something that sounded like their bike bell. And they seem like such stupid things. And sometimes hearing that damn bell makes you just smile because you can see your own child doing the same thing, and you're remembering how much you love them, how much they trust you, and all those parent things. And then another time you hear a bell like that, sounds just like theirs, and you just want to just sit down in a heap, and because you haven't heard that sound in a long time. Right? And you look at somebody and go, man, you sound crazy. You don't even react to the same thing the same way. And, when you think about it, that does seem a little irrational, kind of like sporadic all over the place. Well, welcome to losing a child as a parent. Yeah, so one of the things, everybody, after they've walked this walk some years, and it's never the same for anyone. Some people still can't speak out 5 years in. Some people, after the second year, they've righted their ship and they've gotten their shit together to some degree, or at least can present that as being true. And some of us, 7 years in, will suddenly be struck by a sobbing session where your eyes are puffy and red till the next morning. And that's one of the crappy things about it. But it's also one of the good things, because you're seeing experiencing the same smell or the same sound or the same scent in radically different ways depending on where you are in that particular point. And I mean where you are in the space of you. But I know some of you will understand that. So, we don't want pity when you're feeling that depression. You just want understanding and patience, and that's all. Either if you don't want to, or you're not capable of figuratively sitting next to me and just saying, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry, because that's probably the best thing. If you don't know what to say to someone who's lost a child, the best thing is to say, I have no idea what that feels like. I can imagine it sucks. I don't know what to say to make it better or to help. But I'm really, really sorry. And I'm here. Do you need a hug? That is what you say to somebody who's lost their child. Because anything else, you can't fix it. We know you can't fix it. We already know if it was your choice, you would not have your friend or your family, whoever we are to you, feeling this way, especially at this time of the year. But sometimes voicing that means everything to us, because we know that you're struggling, and you're humans, when they're in an uncomfortable, they're not in an uncomfortable place, they're not in their comfort zone. Hold on. We tend, when we're not in our comfort zone, to withdraw, to not want to say something, most people, to not say something that's going to make it worse for them, but you yourself or somebody you know personally haven't ever experienced anything like this, so you really don't know, what do I say that's not going to make them feel even worse. Sometimes just telling us, I gotta fix that, the camera slips. Sometimes just telling us you don't know what to say, but you feel really badly, that I'm so sad, or that you're so, sometimes that is the best thing. Honesty. I don't know what to say. I wish I did. I'm so sorry. Do you want a hug? That person may just silently grab onto you and soak your shirt. So, if it's somebody that you know, personally know, try that. If it's a stranger and you don't know why they're depressed or sad in the holidays, don't assume. Just let them know, I don't know why, what is the root of why you feel that way around the holidays, but I wish it was different. And if you ever want a sounding board, I'm here, but mean it, because you just might get a call one day saying, do you remember back in, you asked me something? Yeah, I need a hug. I do. And sometimes just doing something, it doesn't have to be all fun and sparkly or expensive, but sometimes just forcing somebody out of that headspace where they have to interact with you at least for a few hours or something. Pick something that either you really have to concentrate on, like a movie or, a craft or something, that the person can totally shift completely out of their head, and hyper focus on that aspect. A lot of times things come out. when people are doing like pottery classes or a painting, like a wine and painting party, thing, all those different activities. Sometimes when you're doing something that has absolutely nothing to do with losing a child or anything, or the past or anything like that type of thing, sometimes just that little couple hours of respite helps. It helps, and it may not visually to others look like it helped because they look like they're feeling the same. Believe me, it helps. There are also times if that they just don't want to be around anybody, and that is how they disconnect. And they just hyper focus on something they like if they like to read or start researching a topic you've always wanted to learn more about. But redirection, sometimes the grief is so close to the surface that it's just spilling out. And redirection, meditation, it's really hard to get there. Sometimes the person has to, for a short time, just submerge into and getting it out. Looking at those pictures, listening to those videos. And coming unglued before they can glue it back again. It happens, and it's going to happen again, most likely. Because you can't put that missing and that grief and the shoulda, coulda, woulda beens forever on the shelf. Eventually the box is going to get knocked down and fall on you. And you're going to have to unpack that box. And I don't like to say helping somebody with through the holidays, but give them a bright spot that they can go back to. If you went and saw, if your local zoo, like, does that holiday lights decorations thing, and you go in at night when you're not normally in there, and something like that. I'm just taking an example. They have those 2 hours to hold on to, Christmas Eve at 3 a.m, type of thing. They have something recent that they can slip in there or try to. Because like I said, this journey is not a paved, straight, level road. It's not even a gently curving or sloping road. It's a wild, unkempt road of pitfalls and disaster along the way. And you're supposed to just pick your way through like a little nimble gazelle. No, doesn't work that way. Doubt it ever will. But I'm just saying, the tried and true for like one person isn't even in the ballpark for another. Sometimes I grab the shell to rub. Sometimes I'm just messing with it. Sometimes blaring music and just singing your lungs out gets it in check. Sometimes losing yourself in a it's going to sound weird, true crime or thriller things because that shit's a lot worse than this here in life. I know that sounds weird. Maybe some of you identify, but I think some of you can understand why. If you watch something even worse, then when you come out of that movie or that stop the movie's over, you're just like, okay, well, at least this wasn't like that. And I've always loved true crime anyway, because I've always wondered what the hell happened in that person's life to get them to be capable of doing that. I've always been fascinated by that, how your brain works, and how you have the exact same thing that I have and that they have, but not one of them came to the same conclusion. And we all, you could have the exact same environment, the exact same experiences with identical twins, okay? And they're not gonna react the identical way. But everything was identical. That's always intrigued me. It's always fascinated me. How did that happening decades ago foster what we just saw? Yeah. Sometimes I'll do that. After the election, this last election, after the first day and a half, and I worked a polling place, I was just so what the hell that I will totally not even cue a political or something even close to it on my watch list or something. Or I'll look at social media, but I will not respond to, and that includes, helping parents heal, and I won't respond to it. I'll go back another time maybe, but because I am not in the headspace right now to be responding, because there's been times I've responded by writing novels. That's not uncommon when it's a topic that I'm passionate about. And then sometimes I just, I'm in like nose running, eyes, red by the time I'm done responding. So there's times that I will just not respond to something, and if there's something I want to, I'll make a note of the name and just the site, the group, or whatever, the person, and come back to it another day, next day or whatever, because I can't. And I know a lot of you probably do too. There, you take a little hours or day or whatever, maybe longer, by just not necessarily not seeing the news, but not responding. Because when you respond, at least when I respond to something, I'm actually in that space, so I don't just flippantly respond to shit and scroll along like too many do. I actually put thought into my correctly written responses, because when you use punctuation and you spell correctly, it's easier for people to read, and when it's easier for people to read, it's easier for them to comprehend. So the people that, when I say, well, you didn't spell that right, you didn't put any commas in, we have no idea if that meant, it could mean this or this, depending on where you put the comment. And they go, all right, you know what I meant because you're answering. I'm like, oh my God. Words matter. If they didn't matter, they wouldn't be our oldest form of history and communication. If you run across somebody who just really is not looking, it's not that they're angry or, they're just not looking like they even want to be here. Give them a little leniency. Give them a little, even if it's a silent TLC, push a little bit of hope, a little bit of, somebody cares about you. Feel to them. I mean, all you have to do is think, it's okay, buddy, man. God, it's okay. And just think of him or her while you're thinking that. That's what I mean by push those thoughts towards them. With grace, not pity, not, oh, well, it's supposed to be the season. Do it with meaning. And most people, when somebody is being sincere, genuine, and vulnerably opening emotions, obviously that person does care to some degree and are sincerely asking, genuinely, are you okay? Even if they don't know you. Believe it or not, there are still those of us out there on this planet that are like that. There's a lot more than you might think. Sometimes, though, instead of avoiding, not just a person on that posts on HPH, but just in general, most of the time you just feel sorry for them or something. But how about just, instead of like pulling them up, how about just standing next to them? And I don't mean literally. Just knowing that somebody else noticed that you weren't okay at that moment. Sometimes that makes all the difference to people when they're in a depressed or just sorrow state, People need TLC. Even the greedy, mean bastards. That's probably why they are that way. They didn't get enough of it. They have no clue what it's like, what it feels like. Those might be the ones that need it, as much as some of them are just so just be patient with somebody. Be kind to somebody. Ask. I know, I'm just squirming all over the place because sometimes somebody just knowing, I'm not okay right now, but I will be, helps that person get their shit together. Maybe if I get it together, maybe I won't be concerning that person because they don't see me as stressed, as despaired, as forlorn, whatever word you want to use. Because even people Mr. Raspy getting off his little blanket mounded bed. I actually have the windows open. Woo-hoo. I'm gonna open the other ones. It's easy to just kind of avoid that person that's looking down, especially around the holidays. I don't want to pry, I don't want to press. It's sometimes asking, are you okay? Is all that somebody needs at that particular moment to know that somebody noticed. Because a lot of times people notice, they seem a little down, especially if it's somebody you know. But they're afraid to ask. They're afraid to pry. They're afraid to push. And I understand that because I experience that too sometimes. But I also know from being in the position on the other side, sometimes you're just screaming in your head, does nobody see? Does nobody hear that I'm not okay? And I'm doing all my everyday shit, but I'm not okay. Sometimes knowing that one person is aware, even if it's a stranger, you don't feel so alone. So I know it's hard, especially around the holidays, to deal with people without screwing up or making it worse for them, especially around the holidays when they're not joyful and sparkly, you know. That doesn't mean that we don't wish we could feel that way. But it's hard. I live alone, just the two cats. So it's not like I have to put on a face, you know, for other people. And so that also depends greatly on when you see people out in the world, out and about with you. You have no idea what the issue is, or if they even have anybody to personally talk to, not cyber talk to, which I'm not saying is not good, but you know, you can't just have that slightly removed communication 24/7. There has to be some real life, you know, at some point, you know, with somebody, because a hug through the internet is not quite the same. The meaning is the same, but it doesn't do the same things as actual arms giving you a hug and saying, I don't know what to say, but I'm acknowledging that you're not feeling so great right now. So yeah, just a lot of TLC, a lot of patience, and think before you say. Because a lot of times somebody will say something trying to comfort or support, and it comes out the wrong way. I've been on both ends of that situation. And when I'm on the one end of this person saying it, in your head you're just like, what the fuck did I just say? What the hell? Why did I say? Oh my God, I hope I didn't fuck them up. Did I make it worse? Did I help? Even if I didn't help, maybe, hopefully didn't make it worse. Oh shit. You know, I've been on that end. I said something like, I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, that was so incredibly lame. That sounded so fake, and I did, you know, because you're trying to be careful. And then I've been on the end where somebody's just doing that, falling all over themselves, trying to say the right thing the right way, trying to help, but at least trying not to make it worse if you're not help, you know. And I'm just thinking to myself, and that actually, for me, took that particular time. I hadn't laughed in days, and I just started laughing, and they looked like, I was like, I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing at, because I totally get how you're feeling, and to be honest, I'm the one that's feeling that way, and even I don't know what you could say to make me feel any better. Because there's nothing anyone can say, that you don't already know. But being aware of that, and you, as the one trying to be helpful or comforting, don't take things personally if what they respond is maybe a little, the tone or something is harsh. Because remember, they are depressed and upset. So getting upset with them because it sounded that way isn't really gonna help, is it? But I do get the wanting to fill the silence thing, wanting to help and having no clue. So don't just blunder in. If you're feeling that way, just be honest and say, I don't know what to say. I want to say something to help. I don't know what to say. I don't know anybody, and I myself have never been in this situation, so I really don't know. I can imagine, but I don't know what will and won't make it better. So what do you need? What can I tell you? Do you need a hug? Don't assume. Ask, because we're grieving, we're depressed, even if it's not over a death or something. We're depressed. We're not slow, okay? It's like when people yell at a blind person, "Hello, Mr. Jones!" It's my eyes don't work. My ears work fine. It's kind of like that thing. So, being that it's we're in the middle of the holidays seasons, and we're halfway through it, just try to remember this. And it's not just the holiday seasons. It is sometimes the person depressed doesn't even know how to fix it. They're not really sure what the hell's going on. They don't know how to feel. So most of us that are depressed at any particular time, we probably also realize that you're floundering and don't know what the hell to say, because we've probably been in that situation for somebody else, and we've felt the same way. It's a tricky little bitch, isn't it? Sorry. I do use humor. So if you thought this was going to be like tips and, on what to do and what not to do, sorry. I really don't know if anybody has that. Might have guidelines, but like I said, sometimes it'll trigger you, sometimes it won't. So how the hell am I supposed... And then, years into it, all of a sudden a sight, sound, scent hits you a particular way, and you're like, oh, where the hell did that come from? It's been years. That never bothered me before. That happens too. Surprise! Just keep your heart open with those people. And say genuinely how you feel if you don't know how to respond, but you want to make them feel better, or at least know that somebody cares, but I don't know what to do. What do you need? What do I do? Sometimes they'll come out and say, tell me it'll be okay eventually. Sometimes you just need to hear things will work out one way or another. We all know that. Sometimes a sentence is what somebody needs. So be that sentence this holiday season, because even though I'm one of those people now, the last 3 years, I still, when I interact with others, I still do the same advice I'm giving. I'm not a professional. I'm not an expert. God knows I could be. This is just one human speaking to other humans. That's it. What I have seen, what I have read, what I've heard, what I've experienced on both ends, on the giving and the receiving end. And the best advice is be sincere and mean what you're saying. The vibe will definitely be felt. Sometimes, if you know the person and you know the situation, or you already know they're going through a bad time, how about when you see them, no words, just give them a hug? Sometimes that's all that's needed to be said. So, I am going to go because I have not even eaten today. And what time is it? Oh my gosh, it's noon. I need to get going, and it's a beautiful day. I gotta get those windows open. It's a good day to clean because I got all the windows open in a minute. So peace out, and if you're one of those that the holiday season now sucks, I hear you, and I'm with you, and I'm sorry that you also are feeling that way. I really am. I wish I could help. I can't help myself sometimes, but I could send you my love every day. And I can give you a hug if you need it. And I can listen. And I can commiserate with you. Sometimes that's the best thing. Sometimes that is all that's needed. So you have a lovely day. I'm gonna go fix this camera from sliding. Peace out. And it won't be like this forever. Whatever this is for you right now. All things change. Peace out.